Okay, quick proof of life here, day 100, I made it. So, Rothschilds, I know that it seems odd and weird. The last thing in the world, 450 days, or I guess 465 days into this, I wanted to be talking about was the Rothschilds. I've avoided that word so much. But, you know, Genie Energy, and there is that one guy who's on the board with Dick Cheney, and, you know, I know that, you know, George Bush is a silent owner, is not far behind, and then you've got Larry Summers, and you've got, you know, the crew, and, you know, resources for the future and all that. So you have to kind of follow it, and then you start following it down, and you see the Mueller intertwinement and the McCabe intertwinement with the Rothschilds, and Comey potentially, and then you start looking at these places in Aurora, Colorado that work for General Dynamics called BDM. So BDM, yeah, and so overhead persistent infrared reconnaissance or battlefield management. A couple of Rothschilds worked there, a Susan Rothschild, and Ann Mueller's wife has connections to Rothschilds, and it's just looking like the Rothschilds are very connected. And I know they're a very big mining family. I understand that, mining and oil. But it really is turning out to be this. David Rothschild's got this intelligent choices in Sugarland, Texas. And then somebody called me, a viewer said, "You're making this way too hard. You know, if it's the $8 million quarter pounder, you know, what's an ounce of highly enriched uranium worth versus an ounce of gold?" Well, this viewer said 60,000. I think it would be a lot more than that if the quarter pounder is 8 million. That's what Bob highly enriched uranium got offered when he was doing his rounds with the 10 samples in Sofia. But, you know, it's worth a lot more than an ounce of gold. It's worth 60 times as much than a $1,300 or $1,100 ounce of gold. So even at this lower estimate, it's worth 60 times as much. I would rather have an FBI, I would rather have an NNSA, and I would rather have $60,000 an ounce with a complete, you know, Pinkerton or Wackenhut or G4S, you know, set of protective, you know, police for my rat lines, and then I can take whatever else I want under the rat lines, under color of law. So maybe it is, you know, we followed mining and oil and pipelines all along the way with DynCorp. Maybe it is the Rothschilds. You know, I'm starting to give up, you know, resistance here with BlackRock and Blackstone Ventures and all the black weapons and all the Colorado CIA type tie-ins and the Q-level clearances. I'm giving up my resistance to the Rothschilds being the first family of uranium. I guess that's the bottom line. So I don't really do much in the folklore type stuff, but it's interesting, the folklore of when there was primogeniture in Old England, and the first son got the land. The second son apparently would become a Knight of Malta, and that was so that each country would have some control or give something back to the Vatican, I guess. And their symbol was the Red Cross and so forth. And now this Q post is out with the Red Cross. And I thought, well, is that Rothschilds are Jesuits, you know, and they are Knights of Malta, and as was, I think, Comey, and all of those guys are all Knights of Malta. Alan Dulles was a Knight of Malta. I think Podesta's a Knight of Malta. The real advantage for me in Knight of Malta is you get a diplomatic passport, so don't touch my bags if you please, Mr. Customs Man. That's the big benefit. And they have a lot of consulates all over the world as well. So that's another nice part about being, you know, all of those different Maltese consulates are safe havens, as well as the Maldives, I think, maybe under the control of the Knights of Malta. I'm not sure, but I think it may be from the old Spanish, when the Spanish broke off. I think it may be under Spain, but given privileges by the Knights of Malta. So, and I did a show on this a while back, and my shopkeepers in Europe, the people that gave me some intelligence about where John Podesta's artwork was, and Tony Podesta's artwork, as well as Blood Diamonds and so forth, they had told me that they'd said, look, Maltese Falcon, the whole show, Maltese Falcon, was about, you know, go to shop owners that have the Maltese Falcon to pay for your rites of passage. And Casablanca was the follow-up, which is another place Hillary could go, and all the people that are looking for safe haven. And the Casablanca was the follow-up, which is you're going to get your letters of transit, and then that's how you get out to get out of Europe to South America. So was that a secret, message? Who knows? But I cannot ignore anymore this Rothschild connection, and especially when it starts looking like Andy McCabe and also Mueller may be connected to the Rothschilds. So interesting. With $60,000 an ounce versus an ounce of gold, is a gold mining company really a cover for a uranium mining company? You got Barrick Gold right by the Capitol. There's no gold by the Capitol, but there sure is a lot of influence for uranium at the Capitol in terms of non-proliferation and security. And you look at Haiti and you start thinking, was that a weird gold company that Hillary Rodham Clinton's brother was in, was that really a cover for uranium? Hard to know. Hard to know. That those mountains of Mirabalais, hard to know if they had uranium or not. Okay, that's the last missive for today, and 101 tomorrow.